Hello, hello, hello. Happy Saturday, July 11th, 2026. We're going to make a third attempt to put out a Do Not Poo Poo This Alert Part 2. Today, there will be a Part 3 because I'm not going to talk for longer than probably a half an hour or an hour, not even that. And I said I was going to start at 5 o'clock today because I have to go into work at 7 o'clock, and this will give me a chance to do a second attempt if this fails. So, and I also have my cat on my lap. Say hi. That's my Rumpy Manx. He's very affectionate today, so we'll see how long he stays. Well, while he's here, I have some bad news for everybody wanting me to make things shorter. I viewed all my recent videos. I always love my videos. So we're going from Nicole reads her latest court filing, part 1. And I started that on July 4th as a present to both my boo and the country for 4th of July. And I posted it on July 5th. And then I followed it up with part 2. Oh, there he goes. Okay. So, and then when I was starting to do part 3, I did part 2 and I got up to facts of the case on my filing. And I fell asleep, or I was very tired. Go to sleep, and then when I wake up, I start to find out stuff when I review 1 and 2. I always do a house cleaning. I like to review what I've said, since it's 2 hours long usually, and then make corrections. And in the process, I found out a bunch of stuff, and that's just, okay, you need to do a Do Not Poo Poo This Alert for all celebrities, but especially Kelly Clarkson for this summer. She's going to do some residency in Las Vegas. She's also going to be on NBC The Voice, and I just hate this so much, but she needs to do what she has to do. She can't hide in a shell. At the same time, I'm just going to put a Do Not Poo Poo This security alert just for my crowdsourcing rules, anybody to be aware of what might happen and what's going on, and to see if we can make this as secure as possible. Her summer and next fall doing these things, even though she's off the show now, thank God. That was bad enough as it is that she's there every day in what I think is a very dangerous building right now for her, which is 30 Rock. So, but we'll get into that more when I do part 3 tomorrow. For today, I was going to continue what's going on with Do Not Poo Poo This Part 1. This is going to be Do Not Poo Poo This Part 2. So we're going to get into it right now. Oh, just the main theme for anybody wanting to go away and not listen to an hour of this. So, the Do Not Poo Poo This, what's going on is I've always been relating Adam Schiff. He used to be a congressperson in the district where I was originally arrested. But I've been accusing him of being tobacco swamp and being and gay. Okay, I pegged him as gay years ago. Closeted gay, Jewish, watch out for this. He colors his hair red. I don't think he's a natural redhead, but all these red flags you have to watch out for when you're trying to get to inevitable world peace. Okay, but I'm connecting him and also Ted Lieu, and also he's a congressman, not a senator yet, but he's a congressman in the general LA area, closeted gay as well, and also just their swamps. I think he's affiliated with I think Ted Lieu is affiliated with the defense contractor swamp and the pharmaceutical swamp, while Adam Schiff is associated with the religion swamp, of course. Anybody in that level of power who's Jewish, you're automatically a part of the religion swamp. It's just the way it is. And the tobacco swamp. So now that I'm thinking about it, together, those two together, they represent all 4 of the major swamps. And if you're wondering, I'm trying to guide this toward my to my crowdsourcing rules people, so you understand my lingo. But for anybody coming in, I'm trying to bring into the fold. Just go look up my tutorials on what the various swamps mean. And recently, I found out that all four. Well, I didn't find out. I've always suspected all four of these major swamps um, are there to support the one main, most powerful swamp. It's called the Infantophile / Family Court Swamp, and it turns out that that's exactly what my lawsuit is attacking right now. I just fell into it because I've been trying to reform family court since I've had trouble decades past with it, and I'm going, oh, this needs to be reformed. And I found out during the process of this, I'm covering all sorts of corruption all the way up to the very top. And here I am now with a lawsuit in LA, which is Infantophile Family Court Swamp Central, and I'm just getting beat up legally, but not quite. In the process of getting beat up, I'm exposing a lot of stuff. And I think my lawsuits will eventually, if they can get past all these court clerks trying to kill it, it'll eventually lead to evidence that leads directly to Adam Schiff and Ted Lieu, or both of them. And while we're doing this, if we do it correctly, in the meantime, Trump is over there taking down the 16th Amendment, so he's draining their finances, and they're becoming less and less powerful financially. So, and in the process of everything, while the swamps are being defeated and we get to the Infantophile swamp, which is the main swamp, and that starts to go down, in the process of this, there could be a lot of dangerous things going on. They can't do mass shootings anymore. They can't take down large planes. They're taking down smaller planes. They could do little stabbings here and there. They could attempt to start a whole new fake pandemic holocaust. They could certainly do a lot of damage to you personally in a hospital. A lot of male nurses are gay, and they will do things to you in the hospital that they've been doing forever. They can kill you there. So just be careful of any hospitals that have a lot of gay male nurses. That's the pharmaceutical swamp. They're not able to do that a lot more, as we're going to be exposing their corruption in all these swamps, and it's going to happen with or without any. You could just sit there and do nothing, take care of your family, but if you want to have fun and help, this really important precipice in human history, actually, for the first time in all of human history, we're able to, actually usher in seriously, like, sustained, inevitable world peace. It's inevitable. It's coming, whether you participate or not. And if you can participate, it's just fun is all it is. So I'm just trying to do that. All right, enough of that. I'm going to finish this at 6. I've already wasted 8 minutes of this. But, okay, so main point, we're going through this. World peace, yes. Supporting Trump and his efforts to take down the 16th Amendment. It's not an effort. He's going to do it. It's just a matter of when and how to do it most safely. And, while he's doing that, I'm trying to, my focus is a lot of times just the whole judicial branch and the justice system, and getting that to come into play a lot as fast as possible and as smoothly as possible. So that's my thing. So, and of course, the overall goal is to do this while we, Godspeed to everybody getting out the other side in one piece, PEACE and PIECE. That's how I end most of my videos. It just means right now I'm just trying to keep my boo alive, keep Kelly Clarkson, my boo, alive until the end of the year, because I believe she's been mixed up in this stuff for a long time. And a lot of celebrities are falling by the wayside, and it's not accidental. These are murders. Every single celebrity who died in the last 5 years, you got to start by saying it's a murder and work from there. Now, it's not paranoia, it's just a fact of life, and we're just going to try to prevent that from happening to Kelly. So the do not poo-poo this is saying, the most important connection I'm making in this is I'm connecting Adam Schiff and Ted Lieu as well, but mostly Adam Schiff to the murder of Brandon Blackstock. All right, that hits very close to home. So if anything happens to Kelly, it's going to be something having to do with him and his cronies and everything like that. So I'm going straight for the jugular. All this security alert is connecting Adam Schiff to a lot of stuff going on, not just the murder of Brandon Blackstock. Okay, it's going to be him and Ted Lieu the recent failed assassination attempt of Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's going to be the murder of musical director at American Idol. Her last name was Kay, I forget her first name, and her husband in Encino. The murder of 2 Jewish women in New York City. It's called the Midtown Manhattan shooting. They were probably proponents of ending the Mississippi, that oral suctioning of young infant boys. They're Jewish, and therefore they were in the midst of that. What else do I associate it with? I think those are the 3 biggies, but and with the tobacco swamp, defense contractor swamp, mostly the tobacco swamp though. They're the last one standing. Everything else has imploded, and the tobacco swamp is it, and all the swamps are now, coming together to support Altria stock. So this is all what's going on here, and I'm just trying to give the receipts to anybody coming into the fold for new, and anybody interested in how to help inevitable sustained world peace usher in as peacefully as possible and as quickly as possible. It's inevitable, and that's that. So without much further ado, we're going to continue on this one focus, and then we'll leave part 3 for some other details tomorrow. But we're going to look at one of the things that happened is going to look at my last Do Not Poo Poo This part 1. It just ended before I had a chance to do anything, before I had a chance to say goodbye and finish the last thought I had. So we're going to try this, and the reason I'm only going to stop at 6 o'clock no matter what is whenever I go to this one website, this Jewish Times article, it boots me out, and it does weird things to my video, so I lose everything. Like I'm talking for an hour, and then when I'm done, I end it, or it'll boot me, and then all of a sudden the video that I thought I was making, the screen recording, is just garbage. It's like the first minute of the video repeated 100 times for like an hour. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but we're going to try this, and we're going to see if this works today. I'm going to be a little more careful and not show the article directly. All right? So let's go to my video here that I posted on July 8th, 3 days ago. I'm trying to say something about it for 3 days now. Oh, I wasn't able to do, also a storm came through and I didn't have Wi-Fi, all sorts of stuff's going on. All right, got booted at the end for briefly recording over copyrighted material before I could say goodbye. I'll be back with part 2 soon. That's what I did, and then I submitted it and ran off to work. But I think it might be more complicated than that, but we'll see. So let's go to it. We're going to go to the last minute, record what I did. Oh no, that could be it too.
Hello. Happy
that's Wednesday. Recorded. That's
Happy Wednesday.
Okay, that here could be it too.
Separate from them.
That's protected material too.
There is no religious ritual.
Okay.
Anybody going, I want to go back and tell Hitler and do this to Hitler. Bullshit, we're here right now. Why am here right now? And we're saying it right now, and there's Jewish women in New York City in the summer of 2005 getting murdered
2025.
because of always saying this. Okay, they're the real heroes. I'm pretty sure you gotta look that up, but get in there in New York, protect these.
Okay, it just reminded me, let me try this. Let's do this. The women that we're talking about, I just found this out like 2 days ago. If you search, the 2 women I'm talking about is Julia Hyman and Wesley Lapatner. Okay, and when I saw this picture, as you guys know from past, look up my past stuff, anything redheaded is a red flag that's somewhere nearby is, an infantophile. They're very infatuated, like gay men are infatuated with redheads, but the infantophiles especially. Okay, if you can, they go after the young, a little redheaded infant, and especially of a celebrity, and they're going to abuse that baby like mad. And that's like, I'm going to say X, the son of Elon Musk, probably abused 100 times or 1,000, whatever, before he was even by the age 1. Okay. All right. So I saw this and I said, oh, okay, maybe she's naturally redheaded, but even if she's not, this tells you there's there's an infantophile, a gay Nazi, whatever it is, nearby involved in this. And this article, the Norwood News came up, and they're also relating them because they're both from the Bronx. And the other guy, there was 4 people shot and killed. And then the shooter supposedly shot himself. You know how this goes. They're murdered, and it wasn't even the real guy, and whatever. But these 2 were targeted, and I believe they could have been from either participated in the same synagogue in the Bronx. I looked it up, and the Bronx is not a foothold anymore of strong Orthodox Jewish stuff. There are synagogues there, but they're very progressive. So they could have belonged to a progressive synagogue in the Bronx, and their views from that, which is anti-Mitzvah Bepa, and also possibly anti-circumcision, which is what we're going to go for here, people. I mean, it's crazy to say, they're trying to guide, we're killing ourselves to make this illegal when we should be saying circumcision itself is just genital mutilation. There's no good reason for it, either religiously or otherwise. It's just infantophiles trying to get at little baby penises is all that is. Bleeding and in pain. That's the whole thing. That's the whole ritual. Make their penis bleed, put them in pain, and then perform oral sex on the little baby penis. That is the infantophile goal. And if it's a little redheaded boy, I'm telling you, they're going to reach whatever heaven, or that's like the ultimate goal of these guys. Okay, so that's why if she's naturally redheaded, oh my God. And if she's the mother of any boys, I think she might be. I mean, if she's she's Jewish, naturally redheaded, and she had little boys who are redheads, then those boys are probably the most molested of anybody who isn't a famous celebrity. And this is associated to her murder. And if these 2 were actively trying to end circumcision within the Jewish community and actively ending, they were targeted and they were murdered. That's all there is to it. Both of these girls, and they're and in the future, you're not going to be able to get away with lies. We're going to know the truth one way or the other anyway. I just hope that we get there faster and they're recognized, so that we don't have any more heroes like this. Like, let's just end this crap now with this security alert. So yeah, that's what I was going to say about that. Also, they're from the Bronx, but also one of the others, there's a Muslim who was also murdered, a police officer or a security guard or something, also from the Bronx. Anyway, this is a good article because it's connecting everybody to the Bronx. It was not random, is what I'm saying. It was not a mass shooting because it was not random. It was targeted. It had to do with NFL. It had to do with tobacco swamp, pharmaceutical swamp with the mental health, and it had to do with Adam Schiff. And I'll connect that in a minute, because the shooter was supposedly from his district in LA, all the way back there. And probably went through the same mental health court that I went through out there. Okay, so let's, anyway, it's good. I don't think this is what triggered I don't think this is what's giving me the problem, but I just want to start closing down some panels here. I ended part 2 of the Nicole Reed's her latest filing with clearing all my panels, and then since then I have more panels again. So I need to clear these before I go on with part 3. We're going to clear this one, all right, and then we're going to go back to that. It was called the Midtown Manhattan shooting, okay, and we're going to get into this a little bit more later, but this is where you get your information on that. The Midtown Manhattan shooting. We'll go over this more. It was July 28th, late in the evening. Okay, let's get back to this. That's what I'm talking about here.
Get these women, and let's get these freaking infantophiles the hell away from kids, once and for all in the history of mankind. Okay, there we go. So here's what we're going to base it on, by the way, and it's not a this was the Jerusalem Post, but I don't think it was a Jewish doctor. So they're ready, you guys. This is what we're going to do. The 2-week-old baby was hospitalized in Wolfson Medical Center with a severe herpes infection after contracting the virus during a Brit Milah Jewish ritual circumcision, bris, that involved direct oral suction, also known as Mitzvah Bepa. Doctors found that the virus had reached the infant's cerebral spinal fluid, indicating. So this is baloney. This is kind of like when everybody wanted to make legalize gay marriage, and they go, oh, well, some police officers walked in on men having anal sex, or they wanted to make sodomy not a crime. Police officers walk.
Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this for now. All right, and okay, that you saw it end. That was the end of the video. It ended, and I got booted from it, and I thought it was something like an advertisement. It said protected material and booted me. And then the next day I went back into it and did a whole video based on that, and it booted me eventually after I talked for 30 minutes. And then when I went and looked at the video, it was strange. And that's what I was talking about at the end of one of my shorts that I did when I walked into Lowe's. Anyway, all right, so we're gonna see. It's possible that just what I did there, just record. That's what I did yesterday. I recorded the end, and then I also went to the article. The only difference is now I'm not going to that article. Okay, and I warned everybody, be careful when you go to this article. There's something weird about it. It's just an online article at the Jewish Times. There is no way this article should be causing viruses and everything. So, it triggered something, and I'm going to talk about that now. I have 40 minutes. We're going to talk about this. What I was talking about when I said this is baloney is it could be two different things going on here. I didn't mean baloney. Well, yeah, I kind of did. I meant it, but let's just talk about the two different things going on here. One thing is, when I said it was baloney, and I talked about the sodomy and all that, and I also am referring to this thing called standing. Part 1. Let's go to my part 1.
Man. There's every state equal.
Okay, so when I did, we're back to Nicole reads her latest court filing part 1, and I have extensive notes on everything in here to help people along. But we're just going to do the first note I did, and I'm going to comment on this right now.
Oh, man. There's every state equal protection. It says your rights are the same in any state. Like, you can't have a state that has laws a certain way for rights, and then in another state is a different law. Like, you can't. I have to be able to. You cannot tell a citizen under the. Oh, man. There's every state equal protection. It says your rights are the same in any state. Like, you can't have a state that has laws a certain way for rights, and then in another state is a different law. Like, you can't. I have to be able to travel to any state in the United States and have that same right protected, even if it happens one time. You can't say, oh, you can't sue this state for that law because you don't live here. And you just travel here, and it's okay for the state to, even if it's just one time, it's okay. So that means if you get a ticket here, it's okay.
Okay, so what I'm ranting about there a little bit has to do with standing. The U.S. Supreme Court has been weakened quite a bit over the last century, actually. But the Infantophiles, who run everything for the last few thousand, tens of thousands of years, I don't know. So they have put up roadblocks to where if you're going to challenge your rights or say my rights are violated, there's all sorts of roadblocks and things put up so you can't challenge that directly. And one of the things they'll say is, you don't have standing. It's a made up BS thing on certain, I could understand a certain amount of it, but it's BS, most of it, where they say, oh, you have to exhaust, for instance, you have to exhaust everything with the state court first. We don't want to trample it. And it's like, no, when there is a constitutional right in the United States Constitution, the state cannot decide the constitutionality of that law or what they did to you, and then that's it. They can't apply it to the whole country. So fine, I challenge it in California, and they say, that's unconstitutional. This law is unconstitutional. Fine, I move and I go to Florida, and the same law is there. So you need to, anything that's like, this violates my constitutional right, you don't have to exhaust it in a state court first. It's just a stupid roadblock. It should go directly to the federal court, directly to the Supreme Court on a challenge, because they are the only ones who can say that law is against the Constitution, and therefore all similar laws across the whole country are that way. And it's under this. I'm sorry. I am here, and I couldn't think of what that was in the Constitution. It's called, I am referencing the Privileges and Immunities Clause of Article 4, Section 2. It says the citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of the citizens in the several states. And a lot of constitutional lawyers who have been trained by the gay Nazis to not understand this, they'll just say, oh, well, we don't know, it's just something, we don't know what that means, blah, blah, blah. It is one of the most important aspects. It's my right, it's another right to be treated, to have my rights protected in all the states. So if the United States Supreme Court says this law in California is against the Constitution, it applies to all the similar laws across the whole country. All right, you can't just go, oh, okay, I'm going to move to Florida now and fight the same thing to exhaust it there. And if, I could only, it's just, I hate that, the exhaustion. You don't have to exhaust a constitutional right violation in the state first. Okay, it's stupid because the state does not have the power to make that law unconstitutional throughout all the states. Only the Supreme Court can do that, so you're wasting your time. And also that rule, the standing or the exhaustion rule at least, violates this part of the Constitution. So that rule needs to go, that you have to exhaust everything in the state court first. Not for everything, but for certain things, you definitely, especially a constitutional challenge. That's what that means here, and the reason I'm doing this right now is because there's something also called standing, where it's stupid if your rights are violated and you're a U.S. citizen and then you say my rights are violated. That's standing right there. It's in the Constitution. It's in the First Amendment. It says I have a right to petition the government to complain about my rights violations. That's what that is. It's mostly that only. So I shouldn't be charged for it. I shouldn't have to figure out who to serve. I shouldn't have to pay for service. Anything. I just should contact the Supreme Court or possibly a lower court, whatever it is, straight to the federal court, and I don't have to pay for anything. It's just a constitutional challenge of a state law. I don't have to exhaust it in the state court first. None of it. It goes straight to the Supreme Court or straight to, at least it's in the federal court to begin with. Okay, and I don't have to pay for anything. All right, and also, actually straight to the Supreme Court, yeah, to a lower court because they don't anyway. So that thing where and it's all my experience in driving across the country and I would walk into a Walmart store, they would, without a mask, they would say, you have to wear the mask. I say, fine, put it on, walk out, and then sue over the law that made them do that to me. I would say that's against my constitutional right, and it doesn't matter if it happened one time in one state. I had standing, and that's it. But all these, I filed the same lawsuit in like 49 different states, driving there. And I thought it was stupid at the time, and I still think it's stupid that I had to drive to every state to do this just to get standing. And then I wasn't even given standing because the stupid reply was that they don't even follow the rules or anything. Even when they make rules on standing, they don't follow it because they're saying, oh, well, you don't live here, so you can't sue, which is in violation of this article, the Privileges and Immunities Clause. I don't have to live there. I could travel there. And then the other thing was, oh, it only happened once. You can't, I mean, it happened once. That's all it takes. All right? It's a stupid argument, and it violates this right here. So anyway, it's a very important clause. So I'm giving examples in history of the stupidity of this, not just my lawsuits where they said I had no standing, and even though I turned myself inside out and actually traveled to these places and this and that, and they don't even give it to, they don't even serve the other side so that we can do this the right way. The court clerks just say, oh no, they decide the whole case right there. Oh no, it's very constitutional what they did. That's what they did. Oh, you have no standing, or when they said you had standing, or the other thing was they denied it because I didn't pay $400 to get this. Or, because one thing they'll do is they'll make you pay the $400 and then 2 days later they deny it just to get the money. It's just a racket, and it needs to change. But my thing is not the only example. The other big example is when the argument from my end is, if you think a law is unconstitutional. Now, I'm not even going to argue anywhere in the whole country. I'm just going to say in my state of California. Okay, let's say I'm a resident there for now, let's say, and there's a law in my community that violates the rights of somebody else, and not me specifically. I have a freaking is beyond question a right to challenge the law. I don't have to be affected by it directly first. Oh, I don't like this law that says that all lesbian females have to be put into concentration camp. Oh, all lesbian females have to be shot and killed. Well, I don't like that law. Well, you have to wait until it actually affects you. So they have to shoot and kill you first, and then you can fight it. I mean, this idea that first there's standing, and then there's this, and then there's that, and then the other one is, oh, you have to show how you're damaged by this. So somebody could have a completely unconstitutional law that says you can kill anybody you want as long as they're Jewish or whatever it is, but because it has to be executed first, it's okay to have this law on the books, just sitting there waiting, like a trigger waiting to go whenever it's convenient. I mean, I just can't. When I went through law school, my brain was exploding all over the place with this the constitutional law and the criminal law and all this stuff. I mean, it's no wonder I cannot pass the bar, because my brain just refuses to put this BS bullshit in it to be able to pass I passed anyway. Okay, so let's just not get into this, but I'm glad I didn't, because I'm only representing myself. I don't want to represent anybody else. I feel sorry for attorneys who have to represent other people, because you have to rely on the facts they're giving you, and I just can't get over the fact that even my best friends, when they find out I'm an attorney, I think they're like lying to me on facts of a case, and they want me to go in front of a court and argue when the facts are kind of questionable, and you can't question their facts. Oh God, you guys, I feel for you lawyers out there who have to represent anybody, and you have to, when they're paying you to rely on their facts, and you try the best you can, but if they're lying to you in some cases, you're going to get I don't know. Anyway, yuck. Okay, so let's get back to this. I have 30 more minutes to get back on track of what I'm saying. And by the way, I enjoyed every one of my videos, so bad news for everybody. This is for me as much as for anybody else, because I'm getting stuff out of my brain, and I love watching old videos, new videos, whatever it is. It's very informative for me, and it might not be for anybody else. So this is just as much for me. When I go off on a tangent, don't care anymore, or I never did, but I'm really happy to watch my old videos just recently, the 3-hour one and the 1-hour one, whatever. All right, so let's get back on track here, and the point I'm trying to make is, in the past, whenever because people are trying to work within the framework of the corruption, and I understand that, and I tried to do that by driving across the country and all that, and that's fine, but they're trying, in an attempt to work within the framework of the standing and everything like that, there was a law in the books about sodomy in all the states. And it's hard to challenge that, because it's hard to catch somebody in the act of sodomy. So it has to stay on the books. This is the stupidity of it, especially in the Mitzvah is the same way. That law, you cannot challenge it. You have to put your son, you have to have your son circumcised and then have something happen to him, maybe die, and then you could challenge the law because of the Mitzvah. But also, we're going to get into that another in a minute, but let's just focus on this one thing. So in the past, there's all these laws against sodomy. It's a crime, and the politics at the time was that this is not a very good law, or if everybody wanted it gone. Okay, it's a stupid law, but how do you do that? So they made, they pretended like some police officers, they staged the whole thing. Okay, it was the same with Rosa Parks way back when. It's the staging. Rosa Parks, me driving across the country, staging it. And you have to be damaged to do it. Like, I have to have a damage, and you have to create the damage on yourself. And mine was just like, it's just having to put the mask on. But sometimes it's a bigger damage than that. You have to go to jail, or in some case, yeah, who knows? In some cases it could be jail and face the death penalty. In some cases it could be murder. It's so stupid. Okay, but Rosa Parks, me driving across the country, sodomy, and now the mitzvah bipa and circumcision. It's the same thing. They have to stage a scenario which did not happen randomly. I mean, I love Rosa Parks and everything, but she was chosen to do this, and there's this whole machinery in place ready to challenge that law. And it's fine that they say she's a hero, but she didn't do that because she knew when she did this, she had this whole machinery behind her that was going to help her. Okay, I mean, if you want to compare heroes, I'm probably the bigger hero. I hate saying this. I shouldn't even say this, because I'm doing shit thinking there's a machinery behind me. There's no machinery behind me. I come out of jail 9 months later, 6 months later, 5, whatever it is later, and nothing happens because I thought I was exposing stuff. I thought there would be like some kind of action. Same with the last time. And maybe it is going on. I'm unaware of it. I think it's now, I believe it's Trump. What harm letting me believe this? I believe he's using a lot of my stuff that I'm doing to catch some people behind the scenes, and I won't know about it because he's cutting deals. Okay, we're gonna do this tour lawsuit. We're gonna leave her in jail for this long. In exchange, we're going to put the right person in there, or we're going to, I don't know, whatever it is, but I'm sure he's getting the most out of it if he's involved. He's getting the most out of whatever deal, whatever it is. Take down the 16th Amendment, use me all you want, if you can. I hope he is. All right, so this is what I'm talking about at the end of that video when I said this is so stupid, because I believe that was staged. I believe that little boy, getting some kind of a disease. Hopefully, the positive thing is it's fake, but it's fake in a good way. Meaning he didn't really suffer. They're lying about the suffering, I hope. Because you don't really have a lot of instances of this in the past getting this bad. Okay, so they're lying about that. There's actually 3 pathways that's going on there. I have 20 minutes to describe this. Pathway number 1. Oh, by the way, did you guys see my video? It kind of blinked out for a minute and then repeated. I think I could have been booted. I might have been booted, and I'm just talking to the air right now. But it's okay. It helps me to refine. You guys should be happy about that. And my cat's back. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. All right, my little rumpy minx. By the way, I don't care. My cat, this rumpy Manx of mine, just had a problem of biting all the time. And when I would pet him, he'd be purring, and then biting me at the same time. And I couldn't figure it out until recently. I thought, maybe it's because he's an indoor-outdoor cat, and I want his instincts to be on high alert. But I think when I move too quickly when I pet him, I think he thinks I'm like a lizard, or I think his instincts kick in. So he's purring at the same time he bites my hand because he's just using his instincts of something coming in his peripheral vision too fast. So I really slowed down my petting, like so slow, right in front of his face and all the way down his back, and he doesn't bite me anymore. So I think this is, if anybody has a biting cat, if it's indoor only, they always say the solution is because he needs to have a play toy and you need to play with them. I am never going to do that. I just do not have the time for this. I have cats because they are low maintenance. I have indoor, outdoor. I put one huge thing of dry cat food and a thing of water, and I could leave for 2 weeks and they'll be fine. Indoor, outdoor, I don't have a litter box. They go out. Now their lives are shorter, but I think they have a high quality of life. But if you're going to have an indoor cat who's a biter, then I suggest you follow all that. It's because they're not getting enough play, or they're not getting enough that. My cats go outside. There's no excuse for that. And also, what you're training them to do when you do that is you're training them to ignore their instincts of survival on the outside world. Okay, so if they're purely indoor, go ahead and train their instincts out of them. But if he's going outdoor, I don't want to train the instinct of being able to spot things that are coming at him, like a bird from above or an owl trying to kill him or anything attacking him. So this is the way to do it. I'm petting him very slowly so I don't trigger his instincts to want to bite or attack anything coming at him fast, and it doesn't confuse him because he loves being petted, but I'm triggering this instinct to attack anything. So this way he's purring, he's very happy, and he doesn't bite me. I'm just going really slowly, and I put my hand right in front of his face. As long as it's slow, he doesn't bite me. All right, so I'm glad I put this in here. I'm going to appreciate this in the future when I forget all this 10 years from now, exactly what happened. And it's advice for anybody who has cats who bite, you know, and they go outdoors. Don't do what they say and play with them and all that to get rid of their instincts. Or, whatever. Do whatever you want. That's my advice. Okay, so let's get back to this. I have 20 minutes to come around full circle. Staging. When I read that article from the Jewish Times, it's kind of triggered a little bit, and now it's even more because of this weird stuff happening to my computer. Now it's like red flags all over the place. Okay, it's like there's something wrong there one way or the other. Either somebody's trying to cover up that news or they are the ones creating it, and they're like, it's just really weird stuff going on my computer. Every time I talk about that, or it could also be the TMZ article as well, though, but I don't think so. I think it's the Jewish Times. And we will figure that out in a minute if this is true. So don't worry about it. All right, so what I was trying to say before it booted me is this. There are 3 pathways to what's going on here, and I want to have a do not poo-poo this on all 3 of them. The first one is the most innocent, is there's a political push now to end Mitzvah Bipa and hopefully circumcision, but let's just focus on Mitzvah Bipa right now. Let's end that, and we can't figure out how to get standing, so we're going to stage a little baby getting sick, and they didn't really get sick, they're just lying about it. That's fine. I understand. I get that. If that's what's going on, more power to you, and it just means it's good news, because it means, to me, it's just an indication that the politics are that we're moving in that direction. Number 2 is the bad guys, the Infantophiles, sense the politics are heading that way, and this is kind of a defense mechanism. They're going to stage, they're going to try to push the whole focus so that everybody puts all their eggs in one basket on this. We're going to go 100% behind the fact that a little boy got herpes, or got not more than herpes, he got brain damaged from this oral suctioning mitzvah thing, and then we're going to now, absolutely, let's make this illegal, and then they pull the rug out. They're gonna prove that the person who suctioned him, who the whatever it is, the mole who did that, was tested and doesn't have herpes. Okay, so that you notice they focused on that. They focused on herpes in the article. They focused on all this stuff and all this danger, and they're gonna say that everybody lied about it, and they're gonna blow the whole thing out of the water. So what it is they want everybody to get on board on this case, and then blow the case out of the water. So then it discredits the whole movement. Watch out for that. But the argument is for not doing that, do not go back these people up, is because saying that mitzvah bepa should be illegal because little boys get herpes is just like saying a grown man having sex with a 6-year-old girl should be illegal because she might get herpes. Do you see that? I'm very good with analogies. We're not doing that. Mitzvah bepa should be illegal because it is an infantophile having oral sex on a bleeding baby's penis. There are so many crimes being committed here. First, they make the penis bleed twice in pain. First is the forcible retraction of the foreskin. Illegal. Okay, there's no reason you should be doing that to little boys, even the ones who aren't circumcised. And there's no reason you should be doing this without pain medication. The reason they're doing this without pain medication and saying it's religious is because they want the little boy to have a little bleeding penis and be in pain when they perform the oral sex on the little boy. Okay, so they do it twice. The whole thing is illegal regardless of the herpes. Okay? Actually, circumcision, just that first step, the forcible retraction without any oral suctioning, any of it. Forcible retraction of the foreskin, one of the worst crimes. Why? Because that is probably, we're going to find out, and then you're going to say, that's worse than the grown man having sex with a 6-year-old? Yes, and people are going to say, what? It's because of what causes, we're going to be able in the future, I'm pretty sure, to root most male sexual deviants, pedophiles, infantophiles, whatever it is, to being abused this way as a child, as an infant. Within their first days of life, it causes some of them to be gay. It causes some of them to be gay infantophiles. It causes some of them to be not, the ones who are not gay, to be pedophiles for girls, or pedophiles for boys if they're gay, if it causes them to be gay. Every one of these things is caused by doing this to a young male. Now, not 100%. Some of them could be molested this way and then nothing happens and they're healthy and fine. I kind of doubt that. Especially the ones who are circumcised, that's even worse. I mean, you're doing all sorts of stuff to a little infant straight out of the womb, to his penis, okay? And it's just causing every sexual deviation you could think about, most of it. I'm going to say that's the cause. So yeah, it's the worst crime in the history of humans other than murder. Worse than everything else I described. And if you stop that, we're going to find out that a lot of this sexual deviation stuff goes away as well, including the grown man having sex with a 6-year-old. Okay, if we trace it all back, and we know these are pedophiles, you trace it back to when he was younger, we're going to be able to trace it back to that's what happened to him when he was younger. He's either circumcised or he's whatever, and that's why everybody's going, wow, why is it always a Jewish guy? And it's like, well, because the chances are he was more molested in ways that non-Jewish men are, even though a lot of it in the United States are, because 80% of them are circumcised. So that just tells you that right there. The focus in the U.S. especially. All right. So that's the second thing. The first thing is innocent. They're just trying to take down this thing. I would say even the innocent ones do not back that. Do not get on board, because it's going to eventually, well, maybe get on board. I would not. I would say don't get on board. I would get on board with people making. I would just get on board with ending forcible retraction of the foreskin under any circumstances, even with anesthesia. Period. So that means that's the first step of circumcision. So you get rid of that, you get rid of the circumcision, you get rid of all the mitzvah, you get rid of all of it, because you're going for low fruit. If we're going to usher in world peace, don't aim low. I'm going for the jugular. Everybody should be going for the jugular. And it's going to happen soon, because once all the money runs out, all this shit goes down the drain very quickly. You might as well be in a position and not try to do these little things step by step, because that's the way they want you to do it, is little step by step. They're trying to save their little infantophile practices, is what's going on. Okay, the third thing is the same as what happened with the Catholic Church, which imploded a while ago when they had all the pedophile shit. That was mostly gay young men, altar boys, coming of age, and the priests helped them. They weren't being raped. There's just a good place for gay men to go in history if they're trying to be nice. I mean, if you're gay, you go either into the military, and if you're a mean gay and you want to, have sex with men and whatever, that's military stuff. But if you're just gay and you want to be nice and peaceful and be gay in peace, you go into the priesthood. And they're mostly harmless, but there's a lot of gay activity going on between young altar boys who are coming of age, gay men. This is like in history. It's like do it, like just let them do it. But once the whole church is starting to implode money wise, and it is because I was Catholic and I went to church every Sunday, and there's absolutely like I'm gonna say like 1/10 of the people are attending Easter Mass and everything. Like you're losing Christianity is losing people. I'm sure Judaism as well. Just stop supporting these religions actually in a lot of ways. Unless, for instance, you say, okay, I'm not going to give the synagogue unless they say no circumcision, and that's it could be gutting the entire religion. Since I believe the whole religion, the whole religion of Judaism is based on these infantophiles who created the religion as an excuse to do their infantophile sexual abuse of baby boys with this mitzvah. So going for the jugular here. So that's the third thing is these guys have found out that the abusers, or not, in the case of the Catholic Church, it wasn't the abuser, it's just gay men. And, it's gay priests, the gay altar boys, whatever. They could see the writing on the wall, the church is running out of money, so they go, oh, we're going to be the whistleblowers, meaning, it's just like a company going down the tubes, and then all of a sudden the whistleblowers become the people who are committing the corruption and shit. So they come out and they go, oh, you abused me. It's like a gay man, and he was there. It's the most innocent of everything, but they got billions out of the Catholic Church as it was going down the drain. Okay, because there were billions and all these settled out accord and this kind of baloney, and so it drains it even more. That's fine, whatever. And that might be what's going on here is you're going to find this baby who had this problem. There's going to be a redheaded gay, Jewish guy around there somewhere who's going to get a lot of money from the ensuing lawsuit. They're going to try to sue the Jewish rabbi or the synagogue or whatever it is that's doing this. They're going to open up the gateway to all sorts of parents being able to sue the rabbis and sue whatever. So the Jewish religion is now starting to go down the drain financially because the very people committing these crimes and infantophiles and things are now going to turn around and try to drain their money before legitimate people start to sue. So all the money's going to go to these guys, and they can keep doing their infantophilia stuff for a little bit longer, but it's all going to be over soon, guys. So but that's the third thing that possibly could be going on here, is it's staged again. The fourth thing is the worst case scenario, and that is, and gays do this in a heartbeat. They will murder people in a heartbeat. They will do shit, whatever it is, to get the sex, to get the infantophile, to get whatever it is. But they purposely, legitimately made that baby sick with this shit. Like, it's not faked. They were given this stuff. And that's the worst case scenario. Do not back this thing up. Do not have anything to do with this. And that's what I think probably happened here. It's a verifiable, it's a gay male nurse. Okay, of course. Doing some shit while the kid's in the hospital. It was planned that the kid would be taken to the hospital for another reason, and then while he's there, the gay male nurse is giving him all sorts of shit. Okay, they do this all the time in the cancer wards. They give people cancer when they're supposed to be giving them cancer treatment. They did this during the whole fake pandemic Holocaust. They do this with the elderly all the time. They kill them, and then they say, they're killing machines, but they will absolutely give a disease to a little baby like that. All right, so the baby was personally given. That's the BS story. I would say take it this way. Take it as a sign that this is the political pressure is now shifted, and this is the result of it. One of those four things is what this is. This is not a legitimate case of legitimate parents who are not gay or related to some gay shit or whatever it is going on. This article is funny business on one of those four levels. I'm hoping it's the first level, meaning innocent attempt to get standing to actually make this an illegal practice, but I'm going with number 4 just because that's the way I am, and I'm usually pretty right on this stuff, even though I don't have any way of proving that. Okay, So that's what I meant. And now it's almost 6 o'clock. We're going to end this, I believe. Actually, let me do, in case this is it, because it's going to be 6 o'clock. I'm going to want to prepare to go to work and not have a rush. And I need to go to the store and I need to take out my trash and eat some dinner and stuff. In case this is it, in case this is legitimate and it recorded, and this is actually do not poo poo this part 2, let me just go straight for the jugular. I have 5 minutes. The sick. Clueless. Here it is. Clueless off script. This is toward the end. I'm not going to do this chronologically, but let me just do this video. It's called Clueless off script gay Nazis trying and failing to frame me for something. I claim TMZ was behind the murder of American Idol music supervisor Robin Kay and her husband Thomas DeLuca in their Encino home on July 10th, 2025, and how it was connected to me and my attempts to protect Kelly Clarkson from her ex-husband Brandon Blackstock at the time and other tobacco swamp creeps like closeted gay Senator Adam Schiff. It was uploaded to YouTube at 2:32 a.m. Eastern Time on August 7th, 2025, causing Brandon Blackstock to be murdered just a few hours later as the main witness in Young versus TMZ, Young versus EHM Productions Inc. It's actually TMZ, that's their full name, in the Central District of California, which I mentioned in the video that I made. I say I'm going to be filing this on the 8th, and which I filed the next day on August 8th, 2025, to meet a 2-year statute of limitation deadline. So we're going to play that right now because that's the most important connection. I have other receipts all the way through here, and I'm going to play that in part 3. But just in case this is it, and I have to go to work.
You guys, and there are a lot of Jewish people trying to end this, and the ones who did, I believe. So if there's a security alert, it's the women who were killed in a shooting in New York. There was like a quote-unquote mass shooting, but again, because they're out of money, the tobacco swamp is out of money, they can't do mass shootings the way they used to.
Oh, shoot. This isn't right. Okay. That site's what I'm talking about, is these women. But here's the actual video. Sorry about that. Let's go straight to the video, because I footnoted it everywhere.
YouTube account.
So, if you go straight to the video, it's called Clueless Off-Script Gay Nazis Trying and Failing to Frame a Narrative That I Am Dangerous. And it was posted early in the morning on August 7th, the day before Brandon was murdered. Okay, and I'm going to go through this actually. 5:57, it's okay, it's going to be worth it. Go to this video. That's me on August 7th in the morning. I started it maybe on August 6th, probably, but it's 2 hours long, but we'll go through it very quickly like this. 4 recent violent events appear to be attempts by clueless off-script gay Nazis to discredit me or frame me as somebody dangerous who should be in jail or in a mental institution. All 4 events can be linked to corrupt tobacco religion swamp leader, Jewish gay Nazi Senator Adam Schiff, and the San Fernando Valley in Southern California that he represented in Congress for over 20 years. So I'm saying off script here. I'm going to leave it. I didn't, maybe I'll change that. But at the time I was thinking off script, and since then it might be not off script, meaning it's a little less dangerous because I'm connecting everything to Adam Schiff. It could be systematic attempts, not by people off script, lower level. I'm talking about by Adam Schiff. These are all planned by him. So you can directly connect it to him, meaning it's a little less dangerous because if you connect it to him, they'll know they're caught and then they won't do it anymore. The off-script people are just angry at the lower level, just doing shit without any kind of protection. All right, so the first one, the murder of American Idol executive Robin Kay and her husband in Encino home on July 10th, 2025, purportedly by somebody who should have been in jail for years but was let out early after only 6 months by the LA County Mental Health Court. So in chronological order, this one happened on July 10th, the next one happened on July 26th, the next one happened on July 28th, and then after that, July 28th again, I think. The football, okay. So we're going to start with the murder of, and I didn't know at the time until I made this video what was going on. And now looking back on it, I didn't realize that I had posted this on the morning of like 12 hours before Brandon Blackstock was murdered. Okay, or something like that. I think it was in the, whatever, just hours before. And it directly connects him. Ready? Here we go. July 4th, Kelly postponed her. There was I thought there was probably a mass shooting threat or something going on because, and I thought that's why she postponed. It wasn't for her voice. Kelly postponed on July 4th her opening weekend in Las Vegas. All right. That's what I believe happened, and I believe it was J.D. Palmetier and Mikey Russo and all these people, these tobacco swamp people from the past. And I put that on there. I said something like that on maybe Saturday, July 5th afterwards. And then these guys, the same people that I was saying that, were like laughing at this and going, yeah, right, this crazy, crazy girl. One of the videos I posted a long time ago it was for, anyway, I just said, anybody who calls me crazy, don't trust them. So don't trust them. They're saying crazy. So I looked into it some more, and I really attacked and tried to went straight for the jugular on this Mikey Russo, and I got the whole account suspended. And I think what suspended it was not actually me going into it was me posting this video directly to TMZ, Rolling Stone, and connecting it, the tobacco swamp, mass shootings, cigarette ads with Senator Adam Schiff. I mean, I did it in this video, but I don't think anybody really paid too much attention to it. The video is over a year old, and I think just maybe more people are paying attention, but it just seemed to strike home, and they completely torpedoed me over at Twitter, at X. So I think that it was, because I'm over the target on that one. That's what happened on that. So I didn't think much of it, or I did, and I posted immediately. In my defense, I came over to YouTube. So the last, I was suspended YouTube in January 2023, and then I was arrested after that. And I think, they suspended me. I thought that was a collaborative effort. They always suspend me, and then they do something, fire me, arrest me, something like that. And I think it's all kind of collaborative. And I'm trying to do a lawsuit on that. Let's just not go into that yet. I just want to get through this really fast. So I was glad to have YouTube back up. They put me back up in May after I put in another appeal. I put in an appeal every year, every other year, and they just put me up, and I didn't realize it until recently. But I was glad to have an outlet, and I immediately answered exactly what happened on my mass shooting in this video, posted on July 7th, right? And then I don't post anything else, but I think what happened was on July 7th, these guys off script, they don't realize that I've been doing this stuff for years, and they haven't even seen this video, and I don't think it was really funny to laugh at what I was trying to do. I'm like saying, just don't trust gay guys smoking cigarettes. So then they have this guy smoking a cigarette and laughing at this, and I said, this is not funny, and they just obviously haven't even seen the video, and that's very dangerous. Off script, gay Nazis are that way. So I think they looked me up, my name, and they found these TMZ articles saying, this is Kelly Clarkson Stalker. So what they did when they found that out was like, they were saying online, she should be in jail, she's crazy, she belongs back in jail, she's dangerous for us and for Kelly. And so what happened was, I believe, they contacted, or they tried to, there were some more off-script people in LA at the time, and they're trying to get me rearrested, or I think the story out of LA is that I was found crazy, but then the mental health court let me off early when I should have been in jail for years and years, and now I'm dangerous. So I think the killing of American Idol, so this is July 7th. July 7th this happened, and then on July 9th, I'm still, here's the one. So
July 10th, early in the morning. This one. It was, I'm posting this, and it was a screen recording. It was 4:30 in the morning before I go to work, and I call this guy, Brett. Oh, it's not Brett 7722. It's BMD 7722. He calls himself Brett, but I think it was BMD 7722. I said, there's no more F-bombs, but I called them a creep. I said it was really creepy. Don't let him anywhere near Kelly. And gay men, I did this on purpose because gay men, if there's anything, if you want to set them off, you call them a creep. All right? And the reason I'm saying this now is because now Kelly's seeing creep as her Kellyoke. I think somebody's picking the Kellyokes for her at this point. It's just weird. I mean, you know, why would she pick creep after I call him a creep? I think it set him off. And later that afternoon is when I think it triggered something that eventually led the butterfly effect, but it eventually led to the murder of Robin Kay in Encino, which is where Kelly used to have her house with Brandon. They're like 3 miles away from where this person was murdered. But there's a lot of crap going on in San Fernando Valley, and I'm trying to connect everything to that. So San Fernando Valley is where Adam Schiff has been representing various areas. He was, you know, Congressional District 29, which is up north near Santa Clarita. Is still, you know, Granada Hills is still the valley in that area. And then 30 is over here in Burbank, and 20. I mean, he represented 3 or 4 different congressional districts representing the entire San Fernando Valley. So Encino, that's the San Fernando Valley. This is valley stuff going on. And I think it was in direct, and I think the story was, I think they tried to make the story, or they were thinking that the story would be, okay, is to discredit me. Because it's the guy who murdered, the guy that they're saying murdered him did not murder him. There's the story here out of LA is so bad. Like, they keep changing the story, and you always have to look at the first gay person that you find, and the first gay person. So first of all, you have a lot of weird stuff going on. They called twice, and then they were supposedly murdered also on July 10th, which it could have been July 14th because their body was only found on July 14th. But who knows? There's all sorts of funny business. Police were called twice. The day before, they had a meeting with all the townspeople, with police saying, you know, we're very afraid for home invasions. The day before, these guys were at that meeting. And the day before, this guy, you know, I thought he might have been gay. There was a guy named, we have to look at this article. I'm looking at all these articles, but it's this guy. According to Herzog, Chris Herzog, the bodyguard group. Now, he's not gay. If he were gay, but he's a non-gay dumbass moron, and he's coming in, he's criticizing the police. He told this person, Robin Kay, like, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that, you need to hire me because your cameras aren't good enough. And then she says no, and then she's murdered. You know, it was just, it's not a coincidence, you guys. This is just, really, this guy's involved. The gay guys around him are involved. The security person out of, anyway, it's just funny business going on. But I think the idea was, behind this, we're going to have a person who was let out of the mental health court like, this guy was supposed to spend years and years in jail, and then the mental health court in LA let him out after 6 months, like me. That's not what happened. In my case, they kept me in they kept me in illegally. They didn't even, I didn't have any due process. I thought it was a fake restraining order. I mean, it was incredible how long. But the thing is, this Nicole needs to be rearrested because she's dangerous. You see what people, when they're let out after only 6 months, they go and they murder people. Was supposed to be the narrative, but it's backfiring like crazy. Because it was, these are what I call off script. When you're off script, you don't have the backing afterwards. You don't have the propaganda afterwards. You're going to get caught, and I think they're getting caught. That was supposed to be the story, they thought, but it's not working out. The gun, then you have to find the first gay person who's trying to run the narrative afterwards. And the first gay person I found, his name is Nathan Hochman. He's the new LA district attorney. He's gay, closeted gay, Jewish, redheaded, just like Adam Schiff. And he's coming out saying, I'm going to look at that. That guy shouldn't have let him out of jail at the mental health court. And he's also saying he wants the death penalty. What the hell? You think this guy really got elected on the death penalty when California can't stand the death penalty? And this guy, that's what he ran on. You really think he won that legitimately? You think he really got all those votes? It just sounds like, Adam Schiff got him in and Trump let Adam Schiff get him in. I think Trump is on top of this stuff. Because during this time, I didn't realize it because I didn't even know until way later that she had been killed. It didn't show up on my For You feed. Oh, God. Okay, so this murder was to discredit me. It was to discredit me, and it was to try to get me rearrested, and I should have not been let out. It was the story, and I shouldn't have been let out, and they should come and get me and take me away. And this person was murdered for this, just for this story, and it's not working out. And Nathan Hochman is a part of this in some way, because it comes out and he says, oh, they used their own gun. The guy used his own gun. If you just look through this story, it's so bad, and they keep changing the story. But then, like other stories say a video surveillance sees the guy jumping over the fence with a gun in his hand. But now they're saying, oh no, his fingerprints are all over this gun, and then he called, and he's this and that. That guy did not murder him. They're just using him. He's a patsy. Okay? He's a patsy, and they're trying to, discredit me by these stories, and it's just not happening. They're just getting caught. I hope they're getting caught, because these people are just crazy. But it's too bad. It's too bad that I told you the off-script people were very dangerous, and it's because they didn't.
Actually, at the time, I should have pointed out she has red hair here. I'm not sure. I don't think that's natural, but it's another red flag. Is the redheaded thing. Even if she didn't dye it in 10 years ago, when they report the story, they're always going to pick the picture of her when she dyed her hair red. Anyway.
These people are dead now, and if these people, because they think they're not going to get caught, and they're getting caught all over the place, and that's too bad. They will get caught, I believe, or they are in the process of getting caught, and everything's blowing up. But 2 people are dead because of it, and that's sad. And I think this might have been avoided if I had gone sooner and purposely sued for defamation to get all those articles about me being crazy and being Kelly Clarkson's stalker. I've just been ignoring them. And if I did something about that sooner, this probably wouldn't have happened, because it emboldened these people to use that as leverage against me. The people that I was attacking about this BMD, these Brett people, the tobacco swamp that I was attacking, that got my account taken down. It wasn't them who did that, by the way. It was somebody higher up, and it was somebody having to do with this stuff. So that happened. Okay, and then...
Okay, hold on. Did I really just play that whole thing? Oh my god. The next one, I'm just playing the whole video. Actually, the video... Okay. Alright, let's just skip to 6:20. I didn't mean to play that much. I started at 3:25. I recorded 60 minutes because I could have sworn at some point I mentioned that the same... Oh, maybe I mentioned this later. The same judge who let that guy out was the judge who let me out. Or he didn't let me out, but I think I mentioned this later. So sorry I played that. I was waiting for that, but I think it's in this area. It's right here, 20
So I'm
seconds.
going to play the previous video. It's an hour long. I stopped it because the stabbing, there was a... there was a Walmart.
So I'm clicking on... I'm sorry I played that whole thing. But I'm clicking on the stabbing incident at a Michigan Walmart on July 26, 2025 by a man purportedly with mental health issues who later claimed in court that he was justified in stabbing people at Walmart because Walmart sold poisonous cigarettes. The purpose was to spread the gay Nazi narrative that I too have mental health issues and have fits about Walmart advertising cigarettes, so I am therefore dangerous like the Walmart stabber. Okay, so let's do this one. Walmart stabbing, and I think that there was a stabbing on the 26th. There was a shooting in Reno a little bit after that, and then there was a shooting in New York City, and they're all related to the San Fernando Valley. They're all weird kind of failed swamp attempts at stuff, and they were all trying to, at least this guy, like, look at the stabbing. Okay, so they can't do a shooting anymore, but they're gonna do a stabbing, and the guy who stabbed is the story behind this one is anybody who rants about Walmart and their tobacco ads. Now you saw my video. It's about Walmart and their cigarette ads, and anybody who rants about that is crazy, and they should be in a mental hospital. Okay, and they're violent and crazy. That's the story is I'm violent and I should be in jail because I'm violent and I'm going to harm Kelly, right? Okay, and so watch what happens with this guy. Then there was a Walmart stabbing, which I almost predicted because I said at the same time I was saying, okay, we're out of the tobacco swamp is out of money. I'm not getting the vibe for the shootings. There's going to be a stabbing somewhere, and I didn't say it. This guy stabs, and I find out I'm very ready to say it, and I found out it already happened at a Walmart. So, but the interesting thing about this guy, the bystander. Now watch this. The interesting thing about this guy.
This is how Vision MD was born. I'm Dr. Zhu. I'm a Harvard-trained eye doctor and surgeon. I've led clinical research studies on some of the latest advancements in eye care.
All right, welcome back to Lions Now from Pop.
I don't know if that's still in effect or not, but he likely did it no longer under an order. I don't know that for sure. Sure, everyone else has it available other than the defense. The statement in the praxis, 6.106, the court's not required to essentially it's required for the court to set A and 1B not with treason, murder, felony, and at the time, violent felony, nor is this we would ask the court to set an appropriate. Thank you.
So the court is very concerned about the allegations in this complaint.
Okay, so
Certainly is
listen to what this guy
is,
says. This is the stabber.
Accusations from an individual that's been before this court in 30-some years.
Listen.
You know the tobacco, y'all like have the tobacco company and you're selling cigarettes with fiberglass and chemicals in them just to kill off the population. You know, and you can't really accuse me of anything if you're doing that, you know. So.
Okay,
So, did you hear that? This guy is saying, I have a right to go in and stab everybody because Walmart is selling cigarettes. Okay, that's to discredit me and this video right here. Alright? That whole stabbing was done for that purpose. Because look at this person having a fit about cigarette ads. She belongs in jail too, because she's going to run out. She's very dangerous. That was 100%. You know, the world doesn't revolve around me, people. So, that's that. Did I go right into number 3? Sorry, guys. 2014. Oh, I did. Okay. So the next... well, okay. If you want to go straight to what I'm talking about. So the next thing that happened at time marker 1955, which is a little bit before this, the shooting of several people, most of whom were from the San Fernando Valley, outside a Reno casino in the early AM on July 28th, 2025, by a man who just had an adverse child support ruling against him in family court. The purpose, to spread the gay Nazi narrative that I, too, have fits about child support orders and rant against the family court. So I am therefore dangerous like the Reno shooter. And I'm gonna show you where okay, so we're gonna click on that. All right. That whole stabbing was done for that purpose. Because look at this person having a fit about cigarette ads. She belongs in jail too, because she's going to run out. She's very dangerous. That was 100%. You know, the world doesn't revolve around me, people. So that's that. That was, I mean, okay, so now we've got the swamps stabbing people and to discredit me. Okay, so this happened chronologically this way. I didn't realize the shooting of Robin Kay until way later, but now in hindsight, that was to discredit me, get her back in jail. You shouldn't have been let out from the LA County Mental Health Court. It's actually the mental health court that let the murderer of Robin Kay, the supposed murderer, the same judge who let him out is the one who had my case, even though he didn't. I think he let me out. I don't know what happened in my case. I think the district attorney finally gave up on it. I have no charges. I have no paperwork. I know there's no charges against me because, you know, I work at Walmart, and okay, they had a huge background check on me, and there's nothing there. So anyway, this is all for me, that one. Okay. Then what happened?
I would never buy cannabis online. I have my son buy it for me.
I'm not sure.
Getting your computer fixed?
What is a...
I'm not sure this was.
Hello, I'm Joe Hart. And I'm Andreas Spotsam. Welcome to this...
So now we have Dakota Haver. This guy did a shooting in Reno that I didn't know about either until way later, so it's not Tobacco Swamp. But he had just before he did the shooting, he had family court do wage garnishment on him. So this is to discredit me. Anybody who complains about wage garnishment in the family court is going to shoot people as well. He shot 3 people, like 3 days after he had a family court thing with the wage garnishment. Okay, during a hearing last week, it raised his monthly child support from $103 to $582 a month. Now, yeah, that happens a lot where people really do shoot people. Like that's the whole. I mean, if you go look at mass shootings and you go and you see what really happens is it doesn't count as a mass shooting if it's domestic violence. Yet they're trying to count it as mass shootings. But you look at it, and most of the shootings of kids is domestic violence after, because it's usually after some kind of a court hearing in the family court. So there you go. And I've been working on that, and I predicted that, and then I just got booted for trying to record protected content. There was a video of one of the survivors, but I wanted to show you that he's gay. Isn't that interesting? I forgot about this. I didn't see this until now. I did get booted there. So that is funny business. It could be the same thing that's booting me here. I think it's protected content when it's just protected in a different way. It's protected by from way above. Like Adam Schiff is monitoring a lot of shit. And anything that starts to get above the target, and they might be monitoring even my recording. This might be out by now. This could have been booted a long time ago. But let's just keep going. So, and this is his uncle. His
direction, which would have no doubt, with Matt's injuries, Matt would have died in the parking lot.
So this is all stupid. This guy's gay. This was all rigged. So this guy's gay. You always watch the first people to speak after a mass shooting are usually gay men, and they're the ones involved in the shooting. So this guy's involved. The survivor's involved. That Matt is gay and he survived. He's involved. This guy's involved. He's his uncle supposedly, and then also the people who died. Okay, I need to. Okay, so
support your family.
Okay, I'm not gonna keep going here. That's just for me, and then we'll go up to 2532 because I'm starting to butt up against my. So this is the money shot right here. This is the last thing at time marker 2532. The shooting and killing of 4 people in New York City, including 2 Jewish women, Julia Hyman and Wesley Lepatner, whom I believe may have been actively trying to end the sick infantophile Moel practice of Metitza Bepa, on the evening of July 28th, 2025, by an ex-high school football star from the San Fernando Valley with purported mental health problems who ranted against the NFL and who was able to get a gun despite being deemed mentally unfit to stand trial. Purpose: to spread the gay Nazi narrative that I, too, have mental health problems, rant against the NFL, and could probably get a gun despite being deemed mentally unfit to stand trial. So I am therefore dangerous like the New York City shooter. That was the narrative. But there's something more important here. I talk about Brandon as well, so let's go for it. Let's go to 2025, and then I'll make a mad dash for work again.
It just seems kind of fake, and you can't, to me, I don't know who the shooter was. I don't know who actually died or who faked their death. I don't know any of this shit, but I know that the guys who are talking were gay, and they're probably involved in the shooting. And they're trying to make it out like, if you rant against child support, you're going to start shooting people. That's Nicole. So you rant against the tobacco selling at Walmart, you're going to start shooting people. You rant against the family court and the child support, you're going to start shooting people. I'm very dangerous. You notice that? Also, if you were let out, if they let you out of the mental health court in LA when you should have been in for years and years, I shouldn't have been in for 5 seconds, you're very dangerous. So this is incidents happening over the last couple weeks. And the third one is...
Fourth one.
The third one was the New York shooting. So this guy...
how'd you guys come through? We definitely had to stay disciplined. We were down 10-0. We definitely had to stay disciplined.
Gay. The shooter in New York City, who was slated to be the shooter, he wasn't the shooter either. Shane Devon, gay. Guess where he's from? Guess where he grew up? Granada Hills, San Fernando Valley. Okay? Now, he ended up in Vegas at some point, and also mental health. So they're trying to say, well, this guy went through the mental health court, and he was still allowed a gun. So there's, again, Nicole could get a gun even though she's been through mental health court. Nicole, he's from the San Fernando Valley. This was also, he's half Asian. But anyway, I already went through on the other video. I'm just going to put all this up, you guys. I'm just going to put it all. It's going to be hours and hours. I don't care. I was going to not put the other video up, but I already explained some stuff in the other video. That's not here. Okay. And then also just another connection. This guy worked at the Horseshoe, and the Horseshoe is owned by Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Entertainment, the same people who are running Kelly's show. So there's a connection with Vegas there. It actually comes from Vegas. There's another Vegas connection. But all these incidents, the one thing they have in common is they seem to be predicates, or they seem to be laying a story on each of these things where anybody who behaves this way is dangerous. You need to put me back in jail. And they don't understand that this, like, So I put out these videos that are like, I've been doing this a long time, dipshits. I am, whatever, but I'm not, they're pretending like I came out of nowhere, and they're pretending like Brandon Buttfuck Blackstock didn't call me a bitch online in like 2013 on my Twitter account and erase it when I was getting him for tobacco shit. I mean, I've been attacking him for being a tobacco swamp person a long time ago. It's not like he doesn't know who I am. Okay, the way the security guards that he hired were pretending for like, I'm just saying that there are people clueless off script. They don't realize that their stories are not getting away with a lot of people in the know, but they're just going to keep going. If they're going to do this shit, and they just, okay. I don't know, guys.
Okay, so I related that shooter in New York who shot the Jewish women to Las Vegas, to San Fernando Valley, to Adam Schiff, to Brandon Blackstock, or I mentioned him here. And the one thing I mentioned was He called me a bitch online. It could have been not him. It could have, well, he knows who I am though, but he knew who I was. But there was, and I showed it. I just recently showed it after he was killed. But there's like a tweet that says, God bless you, bitch, or whatever that was. It's like the first thing, his first tweet that he ever sent from his Twitter account. It was probably from the guy from the gay Nazi asshole at Starstruck Entertainment. All right. And that's another security video I did saying, I've done this a lot, so I'm connecting it also to Starstruck, who's also a defendant in the lawsuit. Okay, so I'm trying to connect everything having to do in the past to the lawsuit I filed on August 8th, a day after this. Okay? And in between this video and my filing the lawsuit, Brandon Blackstock was murdered. Murdered. Capital M, capital U, RDEERD. I reported it in an FBI tip. I don't know how much that goes, but murdered. Kelly had no idea. He does not have. And the thing about what I do is everything I propose and everything I do, even if it's, even if it could be skeptical, the amount of effort it takes to undo it is this much. Like when I was complaining to the security at Walmart, just find out, I was saying, who the F keeps playing Paris ahead of the Paris Olympics. That's all I want to know. That's all I'm asking that they don't play out of the thousands of songs. Why do you keep doing that? And then they just kept playing Paris. Like, what was the big deal to find out and not play that one song that I thought was related to a possible upcoming shooting in Paris? It's a tobacco ad, first of all. It mentions cigarettes, so why are you playing it anyway? It's just to expose the level of corruption on the other side backing this shit. And it was the same here. It doesn't take the end of the world for a simple FBI investigation to look into Brandon Blackstock's medical history and show that he absolutely did not. He might have had skin cancer 3 years ago, but he was not undergoing cancer treatments all the way up for the last 3 years, and all of a sudden he died that morning. He was murdered. There's no, and the coroner is in on it. It's just fucking little. He was like cremated within hours after his death, and this kind of shit that happens all the time when they're murdered, when they're trying to cover up the murder. Okay, Kelly was clueless, and they're trying to paint this story that, oh well, he'd been suffering for 3 years. No, he wasn't. Yeah, as I said, he might have been, but you just look at his medical records, look at proof, and you'll find that out. Okay, so, and not only that, he was murdered, but it's connected to this video and everything I'm saying in this video and my lawsuit, which is what this is. This is before. So I'm dropping all these bombs without the receipts. These are the receipts. When I said in Nicole reads her lawsuit part 1, and in part 2 I drop all these bombs about Adam Schiff and stuff, but now I'm just giving you the receipts on this. All right, that's all. Putting it out there. This is crowdsourcing rules. I got to get started on this lawsuit. I mean, I'm started, but it's just that's it. So boost security. I put a bunch of stuff out there. Find out where all the off-script people are, and also Brett BMD 7722 or 2277 Brett somebody. He just showed up on my For You feed as he's already heading to Las Vegas or something like that right now. So I don't think they can do anything. I think there isn't much, but I mean, if you guys are, and also, what is the deal with that? Like, what is the deal with doing creep? I thought that was funny because I'm not, like, the creep is just, it was just a weird thing. Like, somebody told her to do that because it was supposed to be aimed at me or something. And because I'm the one who triggered it when I first started doing the creep. And a lot of the first post things were, anyway, yes, I am, I would admit, the song is weird too. It's like somebody's insecure. But it's weird because they think that one person is supposed to be special and then the other person is supposed to be a creep or, what was the other one? A weirdo?
Anyway, I'm a special weirdo. I'm both of those things. I mean, the song doesn't apply to either of us. So I think she just likes the rock and roll thing. But I just did the connection recently. I didn't think much of it. I was going to apply online and say, or reply online and say, hey, I'm special and I'm a weirdo. I'm a special weirdo. But yeah, I always feel funny when she does that song. It's like, what? It doesn't apply to anybody. But I think she just likes the music. So there's a connection there with me calling this guy a creep. And then all the first stories out of the Post, the New York Post, all the first stories about Robin Kay kept calling the shooter who shot her a creep, a creep, a creep. Like it was every other thing. And I'm going, what the frig? Like what? They stopped doing that after a while, but it's just like...
So we're talking about stocks. Fox, who owns TMZ, is tanking right now, and also B News, the people who own the New York Post are also tanking. The people who own the New York Post is definitely religion swamp, because the New York Post and it's called BNWS. I forget the News Corp. It's News Corp Stock B, whatever. They have different ones, but I always monitor NW News, BNWS stock, and you could see it's just going steadily for years, and then all of a sudden in October of 2023, which is when all the religion swamps started to take off, because they got a lot of money from the fake war in Gaza, the fake religious junk. A lot of Israel and gay Nazis got a lot of money, and all of a sudden B News is shooting through the roof. So they are religion swamp, and they were doing this stuff like creep. So they're involved. And then TMZ is mostly tobacco swamp, but tobacco swamp recently got a huge boost on April 24th, 2024, not recently, but about 2 years ago, with a big bill that got a lot of money for Ukraine, and that's defense contractor swamp. A little bit for Israel as well, but Ukraine. Okay, so I'm mentioning it here well ahead of all this stuff, but...
It's like, it just felt like anybody who's let out of the mental health court is a creep. Right? Alright. I wasn't in the mental... They never had jurisdiction. That was the argument. I just said, you don't have jurisdiction, you don't have jurisdiction. They never had jurisdiction, technically, over my case as a lawyer, you guys. Because in order to be in the mental health court, you have to be evaluated by a mental health professional. And I was never evaluated. My own public defender just said, she is, in my opinion, incompetent, and we need to evaluate her, and we need to do a long-form evaluation that's going to take a month to do. So they were like, okay, I'll wait in jail for a month, and they never sent anybody for 3 months to evaluate me. They just left me there. And I'm like writing everybody, that's my own public defender. So, and then finally, I think the judge comes and talks to me, and the public defender, and he goes, oh, well, we're here to do whatever, and and I said, wait, are you the judge? Because he didn't have a mask on. And are you my public defender? Because she didn't have her mask on. I didn't recognize him. And I said, hey, did you...
This was over a Zoom call in jail, which is stupid. They never schedule anything. Uh-oh. Okay, this is a sign. I got to get moving. I got to get ready to go to work anyway. My last day, I'm going to go early to help pay this. Okay. All right. Let me finish this.
Did you get my letter? And he goes, what letter? And I said, well...
So this was over a Zoom call in jail. You go to a certain place, and they handcuff you to this bench with the computer. And then I don't know what's going on. They don't tell me. And then all of a sudden, there's this guy with white... I didn't even see my public defender first. I think it was him showing up or whatever. I was so confused. I didn't understand. But that is recorded somewhere. Somebody needs to get that recording. I mean, it's special. I love it. I hope they still have it because I just love what happened.
Well, I sent one 2 weeks ago, and I sent it to everybody else, and been in jail for a month, and they never sent anybody for 3 months to evaluate me. They just left me there. And I'm like writing everybody, this is my own public defender. So, and then finally, I think the judge comes and talks to me, and the public defender, and he goes, oh, well, we're here to do whatever, and I said, wait, are you the judge? Because he didn't have a mask on. And are you my public defender? Because she didn't have her mask on. I didn't recognize him. And I said, hey, did you get my letter? And he goes, what letter? And I said, well, I sent one 2 weeks ago, and I sent it to everybody else, and blah, blah, blah. No, you were, and it was just funny. The public defender just very quickly shut off the video, but there's a video of me saying, you didn't follow protocol, I was never evaluated, you don't have jurisdiction, I want you to send the case back to Van Nuys, and so that I can get a trial on the facts. And then they shut it off, and then I don't get out for another 2 or 3 months. Like, they just ignore me again. Like, what the fuck? So they never had jurisdiction technically, and I don't know who let me out or what happened. I never saw a judge after that. They just came to me one day and said, okay, you're leaving. I said, what the hell? I said, what? There's no adjudication? Did I see a judge? Do I have any kind of restraining order? Can I get the fucking restraining order copy that I've been asking for 3 months? They didn't give me the copy. That's the whole reason I was arrested. Okay, that's it. I'm just saying, everybody knows that story who's following this, but these people go off script and they think that whatever TMZ says is what happened, and then they kill people and they shoot people and they try to get these narratives going. The narratives are not going anywhere because the narratives, are not, they're off script. They don't have enough money to cover the narratives. They're failing all over the place, but people are dying too, or getting hurt, or whatever it is. Now it's not massive anymore, but it's still a concern, and I especially don't want, anything to happen to, anybody, but my boo and some WNBA people and any of my muses. Okay, bye. I'm gonna just post this and get moving. Bye.
Okay, so that's it. So let's get out of this panel, and I have all the rest of these panels to do when I get back. Okay, we'll do this later. All right, so 6:41. I have 4 minutes to get ready and get to work. We're gonna end this properly. I hope it filmed. I think it might have cut out an hour ago, but we'll do it again after work tomorrow. I have 4 days off. We're gonna figure it out. So it's a good day for a great day. Everybody hang in there. Inevitable world peace is on its way. Onward, Christian soldiers who aren't Christian anymore, and Godspeed to everybody coming out the other side in one piece. That's PEACE and PIEC. Bye. We're putting it right up right now. Hope it's there.